You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. My wife's been fooling around on me, guys.
There's a house built out of stone, wooden floors, walls, and window sills.
I got the baddest mouth in the city, baby. No, you feel rock real quick. All right, come on. I'll make you feel real good. Hell no!
This is a place where I don't feel alone. This is a place where I feel at home.
Big Percy went to jail and got raped. And I've been living on the down low for years. Guess that's why it's so easy for me to say no. Yeah, me.
Hey, stop it! Hey, we're too grown for this mess! Stop it! Stop it! Stop! Stop, oh boy! What's wrong with you, boy?
No, stop it! He ain't even worth it. Don't mess up your life with no trash.
No, but he had a right to put his hands on me.
Cheryl Underwood got her own show, now you get yours. Have a business or talent you want to showcase? Have your own show simulcast on WHPR TV and radio, and on Comcast Cable and all of your favorite apps and devices.
We're going to come back quarterly, and I'm serious. We are going to produce things out of here. Because I want to prove that it can be done right out of here.
Packages start at just $99. Download the WHPR TV app and catch the Cheryl Underwood show wherever you are.
All right, everybody. Welcome to WVIE 107.3 FM, U.S. Virgin Islands Studios. I'm going to get my camera together so I can see my people. I got to make sure I have applause for you when I introduce you. I'm not just going to introduce you. I got to put some applause together. And it's What's Your Thought Thursday. For everybody that don't remember what today is, it is What's Your Thought Thursday, which means we're going to talk about some great thoughts and concerns today. And in my building, right? You know it don't belong to me. But right now, sitting next to me, I have the happy counselor. Me and Miss Lela Stovall. I can call you Lela?
You can.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
so
you
creative
much.
and you're so happy, and I like it. And I just like to smile and just to stay joyous. You seem so joyous.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So welcome to What's Your Thought Thursday.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on today.
It is my pleasure. It is definitely my pleasure. I'm trying to make sure we can get us some camera one-on-one, you and I. There we go.
All right.
Good. Yes, finally getting it together. The computer does what it want to do sometime. Mm-hmm. I got a couple promos with the Happy Counselor and a couple bumps and things like that we're going to show to people. One thing I wanted to applaud you for, Lela, is the title alone, the Happy Counselor. When we think of counselor, when I think of counselor, I gotta go talk and they listening, but are they really listening? But by you saying that you're the Happy Counselor, I'm coming to you and receiving joy from you. That makes sense?
That does.
And I like, that's what makes me like the title. Yeah, I go see the Happy Counselor. But in your own words, how about sharing with us what the Happy Counselor consists of?
Well, sometimes individuals, they're not happy. They don't have any joy in their lives. They are sad, angry, anxious. And so I just wanted to give myself a title, a name that would make people look, because sometimes when you're talking about mental health a little bit, people step away. That's not something they want to talk about. They think that it's an unpleasant, unhappy situation.
Right.
And just even thinking about it, walking into a room, putting it in your head, wrapping your mind around it, I thought I would start with a great title that will give you a warm, fuzzy feeling inside before you even start the conversation.
It does. It makes me, the Happy Counselor. Of course I'll go see the Happy Counselor. I would love to. So I can appreciate that. How long have you been in this business?
I've been in this business for 4 years.
4 years. Now, I won't ask you I don't want to use the word stressful, but you must be a really great listener to let people pour their hearts out to. They need help, so whether it's conversation or whatever the action they may have taken. Maybe they need to speak it out, and someone needs to hear them without judging them, and that would be you.
That would be me.
That would be you. And I know it's patient private stuff, doctor privilege,
right.
Confidentiality. yeah, all that stuff is going on. Yet, but at the same time, do you get overwhelmed sometimes?
In any job, you can get overwhelmed, but I think that sometimes people say, I was meant to do this job, and I think by way of my history, growing up with a mom with schizophrenia, it's just part of me, and I just understand people, and I see them, and most of the time, when people are going through something, the depression or anxious or unhappy or, you fill in the blank, people aren't listening. People don't see them. They're consumed with life. Things are going on. And so when they step into my space, into my office, I try to make them feel real comfortable. I try to be extremely transparent. And I just let them pour their hearts out. Wherever they're at in their journey, I meet them there. And then we move forward. We come up with some interventions and treatment plans, and we go forward from that point. But I think it's really important that people are heard, and sometimes they're not. They talk to their mothers, their fathers, their spouse, their girlfriends, or whatever, and what they're saying is not heard. I heard what you said, but I wasn't listening, and so I'm very much a listener, very much hearing what is being said, and I'm able to give some feedback and therapeutic interventions according to that client.
I would say that you have been blessed with a gift.
Thank you.
To be able to, receive, and do some conflict resolution or intervention, because everybody's different.
Correct. Everybody's different. Everyone that comes into my office, I have no idea what they're about to say, and I've heard a lot, and so maybe I was chosen just for this field, because even if it's something, because I get a little preamp of what their issue is before they come in, but that never serves justice to me. I want to hear it from them, how they feel it, how it affects them, what's stopping them and so forth. So I don't go into the reports and things that I have access to ahead of time. I want to start from scratch, just hearing it from them.
So you don't go through, okay, yeah, I see it's written here, you got this, that, and the other. You need to diagnose it for yourself.
For myself.
And hear what they have to say, because whoever wrote it down on paper, whether it was them or not, it may not have been, they may be right with how they feeling, but not actually what it is the problem.
Exactly. It's because, it's subjective. The way that they interpret, my professional colleagues, the way they interpret it may not be the way that I receive it. And sometimes if it's interpreted wrong, you in turn don't give that person a good treatment plan or good treatment, and they don't get better. They don't get undepressed. I get clients all the time who've been in therapy for a long time.
For years.
And so we address that right away as to why do they think they haven't moved forward. And I get down to nitty gritty. I want to talk to them. I want to find out what's going on with them and how we can make it better.
I can believe that, because when you and I just talk, and I'm not even on the schedule for counseling, you get down to the nitty gritty. You don't hold them up, sugarcoat nothing, and not rude in no type of way or disrespectful, but just direct and straight to the point, and that is respected. That can be, I can respect that. So can we talk about, do we need like insurance? Do we have to have health insurance? You accept health insurance?
So it gets a little complicated because ever heard the term all over the place? That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
And so you can see me two types of ways. I do a multitude of things. I am a licensed mental health counselor for the state of Michigan, and I have my own private practice called Live Without Limits Counseling, which is down in the Midtown area. But I also work for an agency. And I am a mental health advocate. I am a specialist, and I am all about good mental stability, because I saw it for years. My mom didn't have it, and if I can help someone achieve that, I went to school to try to make sure that I'm able to do that. And so I said all that to say that I'm in two places, and at my agency I accept insurance. So sometimes people come in referred through my private practice, and which is cash pay only. But if you need services and I am able to refer you, I'll refer you to my agency. And sometimes if you ask me, you'll get me specifically, but sometimes people just need someone to listen. If they're looking for me specifically, I try to tell them the path to do that. But so in a sense, I guess I do accept insurance. I do.
That's good. So it's not so difficult to get an appointment in with you?
It's not. It's very easy.
Okay. Do you work with all age groups?
I work with all age groups. I have clients as young as 4 years old all the way up to almost 80. So
really?
I work with a broad spectrum of clients.
Wow. That's huge. Because I have 3 children, and sometimes I can't hear everybody. They're adults now, and that's making, I won't say even worse, but they have adult issues, and they want to come to me like I was mommy back in the day when they were coming at 6 and 7 years old. Now, y'all doing things that I don't even know, wouldn't imagine in a dream, so I can't listen to it. I can't receive it. I told you, you're going to have to talk and pray for you. You're going to have to talk to somebody about it. Would you say, and I know, of course, because you're in the counseling business, that the percentage that it works 50% of the time, 60% of the time? Because we go back to saying, some people have been in therapy or counseling for years and they hadn't gotten better or hadn't seen it. And one more question, and I know you can handle it because you're all over the place. Therapy and counseling is the same thing?
Therapy and counseling is the same thing. A lot of times people have a misconception of what a counselor does. Counselor, therapist, psychotherapist, mental health professional, it's a lot of titles. By the state of Michigan, we are counselors. But we add a little flavor to it to give people different feels, but we all study under the same doctrine. And to answer your question, I'm trying to think. The best way to answer your question is it's the same, and counselors, therapists, psychotherapists, all of those names, we don't give out medication. And a lot of times people have a stigma with mental health, and they're worried that if they come talk to someone, they're going to try to give, that I would try to give medication. But in terms of success rate, I'm thinking, not to toot my own horn, but maybe a 95% rate.
Oh, yeah.
Success rate, because, again, I see people, I hear what they're saying, and I immediately, again, maybe it's a gift. I immediately am able to go to the heart of the problem, and we start working on it. And sometimes some clients, they do need medication, don't get me wrong. Some people do need medication.
Yeah, some people, it does have to have
They do have to have medication, but sometimes people are in a depressed state because of things that have happened to them in their past, their childhood, and they were never able to process it. And sometimes families had a stigma about what mental health is, and it was swept under the rug. Or sometimes you have to think about it, if there's a problem with a child or adolescent, the parent has to look at themselves. How did this happen? Address it, deal with it. And sometimes people aren't strong enough to do that. So that child or adolescent takes all of that into adulthood, and the way they act, the things that happen to us in our youth or childhood or early adult age, older adult age, it determines how we treat people, how we love people, how we look at people, how we trust. And so it's a culmination of things. So even though people are feeling depressed today, they're anxious today, it may have something to do with something that happened to them previously in their past, and they need to address it. I call it the elephant in the room, and I always tell people, I says, you talk, I'll listen. And as they talk and start to get some of the way they feel and relieve some of the stress or ruminating thoughts or guilt, shame, all those things, as they release that, the elephant gets smaller. So I always tell them each time they come see me, because by no means is it an overnight process, but over time the elephant will diminish, and what they'll discover is, as that weight that they have carried all their lives is lifted off of them, they're able to move forward and be productive and have clarity in what they want to do in their future, no matter what age they are. Really? I can address it at any age.
You're great. You don't mind if I do this again, do you?
I don't mind.
I like it. You can stay busy if you're doing your own private practice, plus you're with an agency. You definitely stay busy with people. And I would consider you a people person.
Thank you.
Just from what I know. Let's talk about, well, we're going to go to a commercial break. I'm going to go with the smaller commercial, and then I'll come back to you and we'll do the larger.
Okay, that'll work.
And then we're going to let them know where people can find you, not just on 88.1. Where they can reach you, an email or website or however you got going on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. A telephone number, appointment times, whatever we got to do.
Let them know. Let them know.
We're going to let them know. That's right. So we're going to go to commercial break. We need you not to touch that dial because it's hot. And I do have the happy counselor in the building with me today. So we'll be right back. And don't you touch that dial. Oh, wow. I like that. I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I saw you writing on chalkboard. Is that your office? What was that, a session?
That's my office, and that is down at the International Institute, and that was a workshop that we were doing. We were doing a workshop, an adult workshop, and that was just me doing a little lesson on the board. We were having some volunteer and some back and forth conversation. I do that as well. So.
And you had some beautiful, look like independent women there. So everybody looked real nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I had to get a props out where they're due, you know. You're doing a great job. I'm gonna see if you take my insurance.
You will hop on over.
I'm gonna hop on over.
I'm gonna hold her to that. Everyone who's listening.
I'm going to see the happy counselor. And so, any referrals it's possible you give out referrals. You say if there's something that you are unable to. Which is not many things, right?
Which is not many things because sometimes people come in. I advertise a couple of different ways as a licensed. What do I advertise as? Licensed professional counselor, and I'll get a lot of referrals that way. People will call and they will have seen me on Facebook or they will have liked my profile. Because people are very careful and sensitive about their mental health.
Yeah.
They want to take a chance, but they want to make sure they can trust you. So they check you out first.
Right.
So after they check me out, they like what I'm talking about, they'll call me, and that's the first of our conversation. And on my website, through my referral system, I always say that I don't take insurance, but call anyway. I might be able to help. So if I'm able to help you with the insurances that I do take through the agency I work for, I do it that way because my agency is so liberal, and I'm so glad that I work there because there's no non-compete clause. So I can do
what? No what?
Non-compete clause, which is sometimes means you can't work for other agencies. Okay. You can't talk about your business while you're with our clients.
Oh.
But my agency, I guess they get enough referrals, and because I think it's 10 or 11 of the agencies,
and I
they
think
make enough money.
They know that you're good at what you do.
Maybe so. I may be a little bit. So, so I'm able to if people aren't able to do cash pay, and some people are, and then there are a few insurances even there that I don't accept.
Okay.
And if I'm not able to, we try to work out a sliding scale for the cash basis. But if they really need help, they're really hurting, I tell them what to do. I tell them the referral process, how to go through the agency, how to talk to the intake people. And after they talk to them, which I'm good friends with them, I say, make sure you ask for me. Right. And they get to me ultimately. So it's all the same thing because all the money going in my bank account at some point. So I'm okay with that because, again, advocate for mental health. It's important.
This is what I need to know. I hear people talk about it all the time. Oh, I'm depressed. Or, oh, I have anxiety. Mm-hmm. And to my understanding, anxiety is to be anxious about something, just racing, possibly.
Racing thoughts. Not having control of your thoughts. And sometimes that goes back to what I was saying about the past or a situation, something that is causing your mind to overthink it. And that is what causes anxiety usually. Sometimes people are depressed again, past situations that they are not able to process. In a person with good mental stability, we're able to have a situation, react to that situation, and properly exhibit those feelings that we feel about that situation. Mm-hmm. But when you're not able to do that easily, sometimes you need some professional help in between.
This is what I want to know. I hear people, I got anxiety and depression. Mm-hmm. How can you be anxious and depressed?
Well, it depends. I don't know the situation exactly, but sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's a different diagnosis. Anxiety, generalized anxiety is a disorder in itself, according to the DSM-5. A major depression is a DSM-5 diagnosis as well. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you're in the middle. And so we have primary, secondary, tertiary. You might have three. You might fall under all three. And you might be up and down and here and there and just not know how to handle it.
Right.
Because, again, you're thinking about something that happened last year. You're thinking about something that's going to happen today. But you're sad because your mom was abusive to you, or your boyfriend is currently mean to you, or you're in an abusive situation. So there are lots of feelings that can cause those different diagnoses, and you can be labeled with all of them. It's not just one.
You can have more than one.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
wow. So you don't prescribe medication.
I don't.
How do you feel about, and I heard you say some people need medication anyway, and that's true. I believe that. But do you feel that, just in general, hypothetical question, do you feel that the psychosis medications that are given out, or do you go hand in hand with the doctor, basically? You know what I'm saying? This is what you came up with when you talked to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I get referred to a doctor or something. Do they go hand in hand with you?
So that's where it gets a little complicated, because the way I feel about mental health, unfortunately my counterparts may not feel the same way.
Okay.
But what I try to make sure I do is I'm coupled with people that are like-minded, that care about people, that hear what they're saying. So we kind of work together. I always tell my clients, like peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see them, you have to see me, and we work together. If you're having problems, your medicine's not working, you need to be adjusted or changed, you have side effects, I will make sure I tell Dr. blah, 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 so we can work together. That's within the agency.
Right.
Outside of the agency, I have to refer you out, but I'm only referring you out to someone that is good at their job, is going to make sure there's a good fit. But you always have to know the unknown silent variables, that everyone's body is different. Everybody's medication that they're already taking might... they might be experiencing psychosis. They might need medication, and they might have other health issues and be on other medications. So it has to be a good fit. So unfortunately, it's not a one-size-fits-all. I could say this person would do good with ABC medication, and it counteracts with their blood pressure. It counteracts with their diabetes medicine. So they have to, unfortunately, has to almost become an experiment, which is the part that I really don't like, because how do you say that in a gentle
try
way?
this.
Because people, try this. Like, what am I, a guinea pig? And so with that transparency, at least the client is able to understand the process. Because I try to explain everything. I say, because I know I tell them all the time when they come into my office, I said, I know you go into the doctor's office. He got all those papers and documents on the wall. He's really smart. I said, but you have to be your own advocate. You have to ask questions. What are the side effects? Will this affect the other medications I'm taking? I says, and sometimes we don't do that. I said,
a lot of times we don't.
I said, people sit there, he hands them a piece of paper, and they go out the door. And then they have a side effect, or they're sicker, or they have something happen. But they didn't ask questions, and I always ask them when they come to see me, well, you're having this side effect. Did you tell the doctor? Did you, So I try to be very transparent, and I try to get them to understand that when it comes to their health, mental health, regular medical health, they have to be their own advocate. I know the doctor, not in my office anyway.
Okay.
Regular doctors are in a hurry. But what I do know, without a doubt, is any doctor that you're communicating to is not going to rush you away if you're asking questions. But if he thinks you're finished, then of course that's going to be the end of the session. So I say most importantly, being your own advocate is number one in the process when you have to take medication.
Wow. And you're right about that, as far as like the doctors are just right. I've heard about psychosis medication, and I guess it's supposed to balance you out or anything. But does psychosis, and I know you don't prescribe medication, but the opioid epidemic and psychosis medication, you don't think? I think, I'm not the professional, but I think that they go hand in hand. I mean, if you're going to prescribe one, I think they all is a problem. It's just a problem with all of them.
They're all a problem, and what happens sometimes, unfortunately, is we have people who have different type of underlying issues. Like some people may be privy or may have a history of alcohol abuse or a drug addiction or other things, and that's really a complicated conversation, because the psychiatrist is only looking, who is the person who's generally prescribing the medication. A psychiatrist or a psychiatric nurse practitioner are the people, psychologists as well, I forgot. Those people give out the medication. But if they haven't done a thorough psychosocial, biopsychosocial on that client, they don't sometimes know the history. And what I'm saying by that is sometimes they miss some things. Sometimes people have a dual diagnosis, which means they're addicted to a substance and they're also in psychosis. And what I've heard in the past history, I used to work at a psychiatric intervention center, and we would have people come in all the time who are in a psychosis state. They will be off their meds, or they will be self-medicating with substances. So it gets really complicated. The doctor's job is always to make sure they prescribe them something to help it. But the opioid addiction is people who had some of those underlying issues, who had substance abuse problems. Once they got it, they they abused it. Because I still have clients who get medication and they get some of the things that they have banned or people don't get easily because they medically need them.
Right.
And so it's really complicated, but the number one thing I do know is when someone is experiencing mental health issues and they have a substance abuse issue, the first thing we try to do is get the mental health component. We try to get them out of psychosis through medications, and then we address the substance abuse issue.
Okay. Do you get a chance? And we're going to go to another break. I got a nice little happy counselor bump I want to play. Do you get... well, I'll go with this question. Are you able to tell me the youngest age that you had to counsel and the oldest?
Okay, and I think you asked me that. The youngest I have had is 4.
Okay.
And I know you're thinking 4, what do you do with a 4-year-old?
No, I can believe it. I can believe it.
Because situations happen, but the trying to counsel a child that young is not easy because they're still learning. And in that aspect, it's a family, more so, type of counseling.
Okay.
It's the parent, grandparent, or whoever the primary caregivers are of that child and that child. And there's a lot of play therapy when they're that young. You should see me. I got toys in my office. They love to come to my office. But I'm going to get you because sometimes you got to build trust when you're meeting someone for the first time. So I have candy, I have toys, and I get myself down on the floor and we play while I talk to the parent so I can get them to communicate with me. And so even if it's communication through drawing, even if it's communication through building a tower, I can determine anxiety or I can determine anger. And so it's different therapeutic tricks that I try when they're that young. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, my oldest client, late 70s.
Okay, the late 70s, they have possibly been dealing with something for
years. And so that's a whole different avenue because I have many years of life to go back through. And depending on what they come in for, and generally they're really specific, what I've noticed about the older generation is they know what they want. They're not always necessarily able to achieve it, don't know how to get to it, but they're pretty clear. So when I have a client of that age, they usually know what they want to work on. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. They don't want to run for president. They don't want to, start a new family. They just kind of want to know how to deal with this better. These things have been building up on them over years. And they have accepted life for the way that it is, even though I don't always agree with that. Because I'm like, it could be better. It could be the best for you, because I believe you're supposed to live your best life no matter what age you are.
That's right.
So, but that takes a little time. So we work on the underlying issue or whatever they came for, and then we might go back through their history and try to address some things. So it's definitely interesting.
That's as people come back to you and say, hey, you did this for me. I thank you. I'm feeling better, or I'm cured.
Well,
those are success stories.
Success stories. Those are, and I will say that when a client has come to the end of their treatment goals, they're at the crossroads if they want to continue or they feel happy and successful to move forward. And a lot of that, I'm bound by rules, and I'm not saying I'm not bound by rules everywhere I'm at. In my private practice, I'm able to extend some different services that are outside the realms and the walls of the agency I work for. So when that person is completed their treatment plan, they decide if they want to continue. And generally they do, because what they have discovered is how to deal with their past issues. And they want to work on their future, and they need direction with that too. So I think that it's a continued chapter or a brand new book that they're starting in their lives. And because I did such a good job with their first situation, they want to continue into their new journey.
I heard that. I like that. You get some more applause for that when you do stuff like that. That's a good thing. I was concerned also, and then we're going to go to commercial break. Do you go into institutions, for example, domestic violence institution or drug abuse institution and counsel there, or?
Well, I don't per se. I used to work for an agency, so a lot of because I'm younger in practice, but I feel like I've been doing it forever.
Of course.
Because it comes to me naturally, but a couple of agencies I worked for, we would go into the home, which is always a potentially dangerous situation because you're in their home, you're on their turf, you're in their space.
Right.
And if anything happens that's not in a controlled environment, it might be a difficult situation. So I'm not at that agency anymore, but I definitely admire my service people in the industry that do that because it's fulfilling work, and it can work out in the long run, but it's not always the best situation. But the bottom line is you have to address the underlying issues, which is sometimes a little difficult when you're in someone's home, because that means you see them, you see where they live, you see their environment, you see everything around you, and sometimes, again, that's not stuff that they want to address. And so trying to get them out of that environment into an office is always a good thing because it's just you and them, that one-on-one. When you're in someone's home handling a situation, you don't know who's listening. No one's respecting that I'm there because they don't respect the person that's getting the therapy. So I try to practice getting them out of the home to my office, to a common area, so we can go from there, so I can have their attention 100%.
Do you help out with phobias? Not just the depression and anxiety,
I do.
But phobias, like, oh my God, I don't know who has the nerve to try to call my phone. Every day between 2 and 3, I'm right here, and everybody know it. And I can't believe they calling my phone. And then I got the most annoying phone ringer on my phone. And nowhere, we're gonna go to commercial break. We're gonna get this, find out who this is calling. They may need to come see you after I talk to them on the phone.
Well, I welcome them.
I'm gonna give it to them. And we'll go to commercial break, and then I got some more questions, and we're gonna talk about the new show that's coming up every second and fourth Thursday, right?
That's right. I can't wait.
It's from 12 to 1.
12 to 1.
All right, so we'll be right back, you guys. Don't touch that dial because it's hot, and I got the happy counselor in the building with me. I'm excited. You should be too. We'll be right back.
Do you or someone you know suffer from having a bed bug problem and now you have to prepare your residents for treatment? Don't worry, Perfecting Prep Tech LLC is here to help. We do all the heavy lifting for you, from bagging, toting, and vacuuming to arranging your home for a successful treatment. So contact us at 1-800-341-9743 for residential customers and 1-800-278-3960 for commercial customers. And remember, we prep for bed bugs so you don't have to.
Fake Friends. Behind the scenes of the new dance show. Written by Mike Matthews.
Talking about my friends. How many of us are real friends?
Hey, it's LaWanda. Guess what? I'm going to be on radio and TV. I want you to be with me every Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. You and I, right here, WHPR TV 33.
It's Fake Friends. Written by Mike Matthews. Behind the scenes of the new dance show.
I'm going to give you the updates on this new sitcom entitled Fake Friends. I'm going to have my real friends with me on my show. I'm talking about Mr. R.J. Watkins and none other than Mr. Henry Tyler.
The sitcom Fake Friends.
I'm going to dish the dirt whose baby is that as I sip my tea.
Who you calling fake?
Can we all just get along?
I'm minding my business. I'm just telling yours.
The new sitcom Fake Friends. Only on 107.3 FM. WVIE Virgin Islands. Simulcasting on Comcast. Channel 91 and TV 33.
Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Hosted by Pastor Lester Lewis, co-host Charlize Wilkerson and Leroy Carey. Produced by David Humphreys. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
Thursdays at 9 p.m.
YouTube viewers, Richard Shepard has a video you should see. We'll always love you. Featuring Detroit jazz greats, Isis DeMille, vocals, David McMurray, tenor sax, Racy Biggs, trumpet, Henry Zion Gibson, piano. This video is dedicated to Lena Horne, Nina Simone, Etta James, Whitney Houston, Natalie Cole, and Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. For more information, call 313-346-6763.
Bon Appetit, Elegant Catering. We now deliver. Pre-order your dinners today. Most Wanted Platter. Visit our website, bonappetitelegantcatering.com. Barbecue rib dinners. We now deliver. Shrimp dinners. We now deliver. Fried chicken dinners. We now deliver. Lamb chop dinners. We now deliver. Fish dinners. We now deliver. Surf and turf dinners. At Bon Appetit, we now deliver. Give us a call, 313-444-5048.
SOS Graphic Design provides agency-quality professional graphic design services from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166, or online at www.sosgraphicdesigns.com.
Everyday talk and music for everyday people. Renee's Stepping Out on Faith on WVIE 107.3 FM.
And we are back. And I have so many questions to ask. It feels good to have a real counselor. And did I ask you, is counseling and therapy the same thing?
You did.
And you told me yes?
I did.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted, because I wanted to know. I want to know. How can a person know when they need to seek out someone, a professional, and talk to? For example, how do they know that they're depressed, or how do they know if they didn't have a tragic incident? And is it hereditary?
Sometimes family history is very important when we do those biopsychosocials, which is a big fancy word for we ask all your business. We ask your history, what's going on all the way back as far as you can remember. biopsychosocial takes the longest, usually performed psychologically, evaluation is the proper term, also by a psychologist.
Mhm.
And through conversation, I do a biopsychosocial, but you don't really know that that's what it is. And I kind of disguise it. So I try to make it seem interesting, and you don't really know what I'm doing. But refreshment. Say it again. What was the question? Ask me one more time.
Me?
You.
I can't. Once it get out, it's gone.
Once it gets gone, it's over with.
I'm waiting on the next one. I'm ready
All
for
right.
another
You
one to
ready for
come.
the
Once
next
it's
one?
got out there, and this let you know we're doing it straight from the hip.
Okay.
We
So
ain't
you-
writing
right,
nothing
right. No
down.
scripted
We
here.
not reading scripts. None of that. We going straight in.
Straight in. So what you asked me was, how can someone tell?
Right.
Early warning signs. So generally, people aren't able to cope and process a situation.
Okay.
If they're not able to, if they're pulling away from their normal routines, if they're shutting people out, if they're medicating themselves through drugs or alcohol,
Mhm.
if they're just not themselves, whatever their normal is, if they know that at 16 they were happy and go lucky and they just feel sad and unhappy, angry all the time. If they're older and they're in a stressful relationship or their job is stressful, it's just a feeling. You know when something is going on with you. And I always tell people we have stuff. All of us have something. And people sometimes don't want to address that, because what it means sometimes is not only do they have to address that issue, is other things. But that's the only way to get mentally healthy, because it might be more than one issue. So again, that's a easy detection for someone to tell. The most complicated part of this whole process is the client. That's
Okay.
you, my viewers, the people listening to
And watching. That's
and
right.
watching. It's just you. It's stopping you because you're ashamed, or you don't trust people anymore because you've been hurt, or you don't really know what to expect. And that's a big piece of it, because people will know they're in a bad situation, know they're not in a good mental place, and they'll just swallow in misery. People will live in uncomfortableness, if that's even a word, than one day of uncertainty.
That's a word we understand. If it ain't a word, we know it.
They'll live it. They don't want to live in uncertainty. They don't know what'll happen if they go to the doctor. They don't know what'll happen if they go see a mental health therapist. And what a lot of people do is they hide behind their primary care physician. They'll say, "Hey doc, I'm not feeling so well. I'm feeling depressed, or I can't get out of bed, or I'm a little cranky." And primary care physicians, because they're MD, are able to prescribe almost anything, and they do. But some type of mandate came out at the beginning of the year, which meant counselors got to do more work because we were not doing as much as we could. And if they've been seeing a client for a number of years prescribing psychotropic drugs, they have to refer them out so they can come in and get what they need, so they can get their psychotropic drugs from a psychiatrist, and they can talk to a therapist, because they go together. Because sometimes people have been taking medication, and that's something we didn't address. They've been going to their primary care. They've been getting Zoloft, or I don't want to name any medication.
Don't get me. I start. No, I'm kidding.
They've been getting something for depression, and
Right.
they've been taking it for a really long time, and they don't feel anything. They're like, I take this pill, and I don't feel any better.
Right.
They're still depressed. They're still anxious. They're still angry. And what's missing in that scenario is the talking piece, because you're not unpacking any bags. You're not releasing anything.
You're suppressing it
You're
in, just
suppressing
pushing it, pushing
Right.
it
You're-
in.
And so just taking that medication alone is not enough. And so that's why I tell my clients, again, me and the psychiatrists in the office are like peanut butter and jelly. You get your medication from them, you get all your talking from me. And it helps them so much. And sometimes they'll find out once the depression lifts, once they address those issues, and some of the medication they don't need. Some people do. Again, some people do need medication.
I'm just telling you. Then we're gonna go on to what's next, because we only got a few minutes, like 15. I want you to talk about what you got next. And I saw a book on the commercial that we did, so I want to make sure we talk about that as well. But at the same time, I had medication, and I thought I was going to the moon or somewhere, or I couldn't move from off the side of my bed sitting up. If I sit up, I can't move for 15 minutes for some, and I was prescribed. And why would you give me this medication? I can't function, it's got to sink in or whatever. Take it 2-3 times. Keep taking it. It's going to work for. But every morning I get up, I got to sit there. I have nothing on my mind. Not get up and walk to the bathroom, not nothing. Just sit there with my feet on the side of the bed.
More stuck with that than without it, huh?
Yeah, for about good 15, 20 minutes at home. And I said, what is this?
So again, it's important what you said. You said you got it from your doctor.
Yeah.
And so think about it. Think about what I'm about to say. Doctor, he is smart. He has plenty of degrees, lots of education. But the mental health component alone is a whole study in itself. And he only got a little bit of it. But what he does know is you feel like you're depressed. He knows what medication he can give you for that depression, but he doesn't know how to talk you through it. He's not a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist generally gives out medication, but there are some that will engage with you and ask questions.
That's cool.
But the most important person in this scenario, again, is me, the counselor, the therapist, the person that's going to walk you through the steps.
And pull it out of me.
And pull it out of you. Pull it out of you. So I don't want to say it. But sometimes it's not the medication that you need. It's the conversation, the unpacking of the
somebody
bag
to listen to you. Release it.
Release it.
We're going down to the last 12 minutes or so of the show. What's next? We here today, not only just to share about Happy Counselor, but what's next for the Happy Counselor in the near future?
The Happy Counselor is busy, you guys.
All
and
right.
I know Renee has said my name once, but I'm going to say it again. I'm Lela Stovall, and I'm a licensed counselor. And that's a big deal. And then I have another big one. I am also a life coach. And I'm a life coach, and what that is for someone that has mental stability. They're in a good place in their lives, but they're stuck. They might be unhappy because they want to go back to school. They want to become an entrepreneur. They want to step out on faith, if you will. Step out on faith and do something different from their life. They know they have a calling on their life to do something, then go punch a clock, and they don't know how. And through different interventions, we do life coaching, and we get you from A to B. But again, one important component of this A-B formula is you. The person is in charge of their destiny. And in life coaching, we discover that. We discuss that. I help them find their way on their journey through some hard work and radical actions. We can get lots of zeros in your bank account, lots of smiles on your face, lots of stuff in the luggage going out of town, going places. Just I can get you in a good place where you want to be. And that's what I do, life coaching as well. Also, the book is Find Your Happy. What a coincidence. And this is just a small therapeutic guide that just talks about what I've been saying here all the time.
How can we get the book?
You can get the book for the listeners. You can get my free
and
ebook. Viewers, keep forgetting that part.
Yeah, wave.
You can see me and hear me. You can get it at www.lifewithoutlimitscounseling.com/shop. If you look on my website, which again is at lifewithoutlimitscounseling.com, and go under shop, you'll see my ebook. And you can also get a free hard copy if you would like. And it's just a therapeutic book that helps you find inner peace, happiness, and joy. Because some of us are lacking that. We keep looking for it and have no idea where it is.
And could have it. And it just disappeared. We woke up like this one day.
Everyone who's looking and listening, point at yourself. And you're the person that's responsible for your joy and happiness. If you're looking for it, it's there within. But you might need a professional to help you find it.
And pull it out.
That could be me.
And that could be you.
That could be me.
Now we call you therapist Lela. We call you the Happy Counselor.
You can call me the Happy Counselor. You can call me Lela. You can call the agency Live Without Limits. It goes on and on. Just call me.
So lifewithoutlimits.com is the website.
It's Life Without Limits Counseling.
Counseling. Because you know I'm going on there, right?
Oh, okay.
I got
get some good stuff on there.
I got a few people I need to refer.
You can refer them? Okay, yeah.
Life Without Limits Counseling.
.com.
Counseling.com. And I need people to know where they're going to hear you again at. And see you. Let's break it on down.
You'll see me again. I'm here Tuesday. Nope. Wrong. I'm here the second and the fourth Thursday.
That's right.
Of every month from 12 to 1 doing the Happy Counselor Show.
And I wanted to give you applause because I like that. I wanted to are you going to be taking call-ins?
I'm gonna take some call-ins.
Call-ins.
I'm working on it. I got
because you know it's not scripted when they call in.
It's not scripted. None of this is scripted.
None of this is
All
scripted.
of it is straight from the hip, guys.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we are. I remember when you and I first had our meeting. There was another lady here, and she felt something from you, and she asked you, were you? She's a pastor, I think, evangelist or something. Prophetess. Oh, you remember?
I remember.
And she said, what did she ask? She said, did God lay this on you? Do you know something? She asked you. It made me realize that you had a gift.
She asked me does God give me the words to say to my clients?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to think about it because I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, or I've even thought about it. But
right.
When she said it to me, I smiled to myself and I said, well, he does, because sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to say. Because think about it. If I have clients that are anywhere from 4 to 80,
yeah,
and of all nationalities across the board,
girl.
Sometimes we have nothing in common.
Nothing.
Besides, we're just in that space, in that room. But the one commonality I have found about people is they want to be heard. They want you to listen, genuinely listen to what they're saying in a safe environment. And I'm able to give them that.
Well, I might get an appointment because I rather talk. And I've talked to people, and one man I was talking to, he just was writing, and he didn't nod and say thank you or yeah, I'm listening. None of that. And before I knew it, he found the true colors who I really was. He's ready to put me out of his office. Because I said, you're not listening to me. You're not. What are you writing? We are paying. I didn't say nothing for you to write, but I'm not hard to deal with. Mm-hmm. But I know I can tell that you are great to deal with as far as listening and creativity. Right. So I need you to plug your show again and your website, please.
All right, so I'm going to talk real fast.
And how they can find the book.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say more than that. You can find the book on my website at www.lifewithoutlimitscounseling.com/shop. You can also find me on Facebook under Lela Stovall, under Motivate Yourself. Did you say my phone number? I can't give that?
You can give it.
Okay.
Yes.
Phone number.
The one that you want everybody to call.
I'm going to give my business.
Okay.
248-802-8003.
One more time.
248-802-8003. If you need to know more information, you can check me out on Psychology Today. And that gives a lot of my bio information and the types of people that I handle. But the best way to do it is not to read. Is to just call me and we have a conversation and you determine if we're a good fit. I also want everyone to know that I'm starting a support group for women empowerment, for women just to come, let down their hair, take off their super capes. That will be every Thursday, 6 to 7:30 down at International Institute where my office is, and that's at 111 East Kirby, Detroit 48202. Again, that's every Thursday, 6 to 7:30. It's free, no cost.
Ooh.
And my ladies can come in and let their hair down. And it's we'll get into the mandatories, but just come on down and let your hair down and talk about stuff. And you'll find that you might need some other services that I offer.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I haven't even been. I wrote it down. 111 East Kirby, 6 to 7:30.
6 to 7:30 every Thursday. Women's support group.
That's tonight.
That's tonight.
I'm supposed to be there tonight.
She's supposed to be there tonight. And then she's talking about what had happened.
I'm gonna make it.
Around.
You know, the 30th anniversary is tonight.
I do.
For the new dance show.
But it's next Thursday, so I will.
Because you did say every Thursday, didn't you?
Thursday.
I like that.
Every Thursday in the conference room. So when you get down there, you can't find me. I'm in the conference room.
I'll call you, but I'll try to catch you before you. Are you going? Do you have other speakers, or you be the main speaker?
I'm the main speaker because it's an hour-and-a-half group, and usually in a group, I'm the facilitator. But you guys are in charge. You talk about what you want to talk about. I'll have some structure, and we'll go in different places, but we'll go with the flow. I'm really easygoing, and it's just a safe space for you to come down and let your hair down. Let's talk about your job, your kids. You always being in the monkey in the middle between your husband and your kids, your mom and your husband. You know, all that stuff. The car,
the
all
house,
that stuff you want to
everything.
talk about. You
Right.
come down, it's safe space. You sign a contract to make sure it stays safe space.
I heard that.
And we go from there.
I heard that. Well, we'll see you on the coming up for radio will be next week, isn't it?
Next week, yes.
That'll be the second Thursday.
And 4th, even though the 4th is on the Thanksgiving. We're working that out.
Yeah, we're working that out.
Working that out.
But we're going to have a great show. I'm going to play the bump again. Did you want to shout anybody out?
No, I'm good. Just everyone that's listening and looking. If you need help, don't be ashamed. Look me up. Talk to a professional. You might be surprised the end result.
That's right, the happy counselor. I love having you here. Oh, my little applause disappeared. I guess I was hitting it too hard, too much. The nerve.
I'll clap.
Yes.
See, we'll clap.
I clicked on it and it just went away. The nerve. But we're going to play the bump again, and I want everybody to tune in every second and fourth Thursday on 88.1 FM, WHPR, at 12 o'clock, right? 12 to 1?
12 to 1. I'll be here.
And you don't even know. This show is what we're plugging in for radio, but you guys don't even have the half of it on what Lela Stovall is into. She is fabulous. Fabulous. And I'm glad that you came in today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And please drop through. The door is open for you every time, because I need a little counseling every now and then. And I do appreciate the book I got, and I'm looking forward to getting one of those books too.
All right.
So if I need to go on lifewithoutlimitscounseling.com, then that's what I'll do. But I'm going to have you sign it to me.
Autographed copy is the best one.
Yeah, I want to be privileged. I want to feel special.
I don't even.
All right, Cheryl Underwood Radio is coming up next. We talked all the way to a minute to 3. So again, every second, that's coming up this Thursday, every second and fourth Thursday on 88.1 FM at 12 o'clock to 1, an entire hour. Catch the happy counselor. All right. Cheryl Underwood next, and we will see you tomorrow.